So good day, sir. We are the group 5 and we're going to discuss about the global crisis. So before we start, here are the group 5 members. First, Engine Cadet Yangan, Engine Cadet Rubia, Engine Cadet Salvador, Engine Cadet Villaester, Engine Cadet Tulod, and lastly, Engine Cadet Ybañez. So without further ado, let's start. Next, sir. So I am Engine Cadet Yangan, so I'm going to discuss the definition and the origin of this environmental crisis, and we're going to relate this to our everyday encounters with pollution, the global warming, desertification, ozone depletion, and we're going to give the government programs which address this crisis. So next, so environmental crisis. So environmental crisis is a term used to describe the sum of environmental problems that we face today. So this is the problems that we face in our daily lives. Next is environmental crises are distinguished by rapid and largely unexpected changes in environmental quality that are difficult, if not possible, to reverse. So next. So when does this crisis exist? So awareness of this environmental crisis has grown since the 1970s, so it already existed in the 19th century, partly as a result of the prominence given to major so-called environmental disasters such as the Sahelian droughts of the 1970s and 1980s and the nuclear accident at the Chernobyl in 1986. So this was based on the Global Environment Outlook 2000 report, UNEP 1999. Next. So this is the Sahelian drought, which has a big or immense impact into the people. And next is the Chernobyl, which possess great radiation to the people living in the area. So next. So how does this crisis exist? So basically, it's all about human activities. So there are some factors as well. So first is the industrialization. So due to technological advancement or the development of technologies, people exploit natural resources, which has an immense impact of the environment. So these machines or the devices that we have today or we use today came from raw materials which then processed to manifest them. So examples of such raw materials could be gold, copper, and coal. Though industrialization evolved humans, yet the environment paid for it. Next is overpopulation. So how this overpopulation contribute to environmental crisis? Due to this overpopulation, natural resources are still exploited to accommodate a high number of people living in the area in order to sustain life. So the greater number of population, the immense demand of resources occurs. So one of which resources that people need is the fossil fuels or oils to produce power to our environment. So this environmental crisis already existed long before. So it was already on the 19th century. So next. So here are the common environmental crises. First, the pollution, this global warming, desertification, and ozone pollution. So this is the very common that problems that we face globally. So next. So in pollution, there are factors. There are categories of pollution. So first is the air pollution. Next. So here's an example of an air pollution. So this immense smoke created by power plants. So these power plants are beneficial to our people since power plants produce power to provide electricity into our households, yet they emit immense amount of air, which is which immense amount of smoke, which is harmful to the environment. So next is the water pollution. So water pollution is very common into our society, which wherein the garbage are thrown into the water basins. So this is very common into our society, and one of which is recently clean is the Manila Bay. So next is the land pollution. So these are the garbages thrown, and we don't have enough landfills to accommodate these garbages. So next, so this is the radioactive pollution. So radioactive pollution came from nuclear plants, which uses chemicals to produce power, which the byproducts of these are toxic into our environment. So next, so there are those are the some problems or the environmental crisis that we had. So there are some also government programs to address this to address this crisis. So first is the RA or the Republic Act number 8749, or the Philippine Clean Air Act. So this law is a comprehensive air quality management policy and program which aims to achieve and maintain air for all Filipinos. And next is the RA or Republic Act number 9275, the Philippine Clean Water Act of 2004. So this act aims to protect the country's water bodies from pollution from land-based sources. Examples are the industries and commercial establishments, agriculture, and community household activities. Next is the Republic Act number 9003, the Ecological Solid Waste Act of 2000. So basically, this law aims to adopt a systematic, comprehensive, and ecological solid waste management program that shall ensure the protection of public health and environment. And lastly is the Republic Act number 6969, or the Toxic Substances, Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control Act of 1990. So basically, this act aims to regulate or prohibit the importation, manufacture, processing, sale, distribution, use, and disposal of chemical substances and mixtures that present of unreasonable risk to human health. So these are some major environmental laws in the Philippines. So these are the programs which are created by the government to address the environmental crisis. Next. So next problem is the global warming. So what is this global warming? So global warming is the heating of our immense heating of the Earth. So next. So global warming is the long-term heating of the Earth's climate system observed since the pre-industrial period due to human activities, primarily fossil fuel burning, which increases heat trapping greenhouse levels in Earth's atmosphere. So next, so how is this global warming occurs? So since the Earth absorbed the energy from the sun, and this energy from the sun that is absorbed from the Earth will leave the Earth and will go to the atmosphere, and before this energy will go outside or will leave the Earth, there is this greenhouse gases. So these green parts here are the greenhouse gases, which is commonly the CO2 and the methane. So the lesser the number of these CO2 or the carbon dioxides, the faster the energy leaves the Earth, which dili siya mo init maayo. So that is how kanang kung mudaghan ni ang atong greenhouse gases, which is the carbon dioxide nga mo na itong mga gipang-emit, especially sa itong mga sakyanan. Then dili kayo makuha balik since wala naman kayo tayong mga trees, since trees and plants absorb carbon dioxide. So if kung daghan kini yung greenhouse gases na to, matrap ang heat nga nasa earth, so that meaning na moinit ang earth mo na magka-global warming and climate change. So next, so there are programs as well to address this crisis. So the government programs, so again there is this Republic Act number 8749 or the Philippine Clean Air Act. So why we use this program is essential to this crisis, since air is major influence that can help the greenhouse gases. So just like atong mga CO2, ma-minimize nato para kung mas less ang number sa CO2 sa atong atmosphere, mas dali makalive ang energy nga gi-absorb sa sun. Then next is the tree planting. So basically, mong tree planting, since plants absorb carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. So katong mga carbon dioxide nga na-release sa atong atmosphere, absorb to sa atong trees. So that's why trees are very essential into our environment. Next. So this is the desertification. So desertification is immense drought of the land, so as we can see in the picture. So next. So desertification is a type of land degradation in dry lands in which biological productivity is lost due to natural processes or induced by human activities, whereby fertile areas became increasingly arid. So this is due to extreme heat or the El Nino. So there are several causes of this desertification. First is the intensive use of agricultural lands. Next is poor irrigation practices, deforestation, and overgrazing. Next. So with that environmental crisis, there is problem. So first is that the Philippine National Action Plan, or the NAP, formulated and implemented by the Philippine government in 2004. So this NAP is an expression of full and unqualified commitment of the Philippine government in the effective and accelerated implementation of the programs and project activities to combat desertification, land degradation, and poverty in the identified drought vulnerable areas of the country. So it is a working document for the convergence of actions of the Department of Agriculture's Environment and Natural Resources, or the DENR, and the Science and Technology and Agrarian Reform. Next is the ozone depletion. So next. So this environmental crisis, or the ozone depletion, is the ozone layer depletion is the thinning of the ozone layer present in the atmosphere. And this ozone layer is a thin part of the atmosphere that absorbs all of the sun's harmful ultraviolet light. So when the earth absorbs energy from the sun, so the ultraviolet rays from the sun is filtered by this ozone layer, so that we will minimize or we can get rid of this kanang mga effect niya, such as skin cancers. So ozone depletion is a major environmental problem because it increases the amount of ultraviolet radiation that reaches Earth's surface. So the main cause of ozone depletion in the ozone hole is manufactured chemicals, especially manufactured halocarbon refrigerants, solvents, propellants, and foam-blowing agents. So these are commonly found in sa itong mga air conditioners, itong refrigerators, which uses yung mga refrigerant that is toxic and harmful to the environment. So next, so with that kind of environmental crisis, there is a program as well to to alleviate this crisis. So through the DENR, Environmental Management Bureau, or the EMB, the Philippine Ozone Desk (POD) was created to facilitate and coordinate ODS, or the ozone depleting substances, phase out projects and policies. So the roles of POD are the following: to ensure compliance of timetable set to phase out ODS in the country. So mga ODS, mga ozone depleting substances such as atong mga refrigerant, atong sa atong mga aircons, mga sakyanan that is harmful to the environment. So again, the program is na-appeal po siya sa Republic Act number 8749 is the Philippine Clean Air Act. And another program that is implemented that the Philippines halt the importation of chlorofluorocarbons on January 2010. So mga CFCs na present sa itong mga refrigerants or mga butang na CFC gi-halt na para maka-save ta sa atong environment. So those are some programs nga na-implement so address the problem. So next, so that would be all for this environmental crisis. So we already know about those mga definition and relate those mga problems. So balik sa gadget. So there's a quote nga makarelate ani nga environmental crisis. So this is according to Robert Redford. So I think the environment should be put in the category of our national security. Defense of our resources is just as important as defense abroad. Otherwise, what's there to defend? So that is quote to ponder about this topic. So that would be all for that topic. Thank you.